I was also supposed to answer a few unanswered questions. If there is a question without being answered, you can't go to sleep tonight. If there is a burning question, just one question we'll handle, please. Please take the microphone, whoever. Where's the microphone, please? Please take the microphone. Here. The lady with the microphone, you must look for her raised hands. Hey, what's the matter?
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. There is so much for this country to take into consideration as we head into this election. So many issues. To name a few, it's economic challenges, refugee humanitarian efforts, these racial tensions, and we can go on and on and on. Even the strife between the presidential campaign is so tense. What guidance can you give us in this era now?
You're getting me into the political morass. So we must understand this. Fundamentally, democracy means, the equivalent word in southern Indian languages, in Tamil, democracy means Jananayakam. This means the rule of the people. Democracy means that. It is not that you're electing a ruler, you're electing a representative who'll rule on your behalf. That's what democracy means. But this will be a functional democracy only when every individual votes according to their individual choice. I'm saying this across the world, particularly in America. Now we have become two tribes. The parties are no more parties, they're tribes. My grandfather was a Democrat, my father was a Democrat, so I am one, or the other Republican, I am one. You are creating two tribes. If you vote on tribal loyalties, this is feudalistic system. In a democratic garb, it's no use. Democracy means every time your vote is a considered vote, not a committed vote. If you have a committed vote already, this is no good democracy, it will not function as a democracy. But unfortunately, I see most of America is already committed. Committed vote means no democracy. Democracy means a considered vote. So it is not about whom to elect. What is it that you want? And who is going to make that happen? That is the question. This is the time. Some of the things that you mentioned, one of the biggest concerns right now is this: what will America be for the rest of the world also? Because I have seen that, for example, in India, people who are watching American elections with as much interest as they would watch their own elections. But this time with a little bit of amusement, unfortunately. Why they're watching this is because in some way, people are believing that whoever gets elected will be, in some sense, leader of the world. When such a privilege is put upon us, it's very important. One important thing for America is, this is a nation which has grown and flourished on individual enterprise. We have to focus on that. If this has to happen, what needs to happen in the country? We suddenly change track into something else and we think by getting into a mess all over the world, this will become better. No, this will not become better that way. I always wonder, I even spoke to one of your past presidents, And when I mentioned this, he said, this is our aim next time. But it's always next time. The thing is, see for example, America has gotten into many warlike situations or wars, where it's destroyed a few nations. Right now in the last 15 years, in our own lifetime, I always look back on World War I and World War II and wondered, how did the people of the time allow this to happen? That kind of atrocity. But in our own times, it is happening and we are allowing it to happen because we think it's not our business, but when it comes to our doorstep, it will become our business. And when it'll become our business, we don't know. Tomorrow morning, we don't know who is going to explode where. Instead of sending 150,000 soldiers and spending $1 trillion in Middle East, if you had sent out 150,000 engineers, doctors, business experts, variety of people, instead of investing $1 trillion, 1/10 of that if you had invested, you could have… the world would have loved you and it would be yours anyway. There are two ways to get the world. One is by conquest, another is by inclusion and embrace. Time has come where conquering the world is over. It's an old… it is a thought from the graveyards of the past. It is not a futuristic thought. Future does not belong to those who want to conquer. Future belongs to those who will include. If America strives to include rather than to mess around with all the problems in the world, see, just a simple thing I'm telling you. There are estimates, the United Nations has made these estimates. They say something like if you spend $12 to $15 billion a year, $12 to $15 billion, you can nourish every child on the planet till they're 6 years of age. I'm saying if you do this, will the world love you? If you spend another $10–15 billion per year, you can educate every child in impoverished society. The amount of skill that you will develop in the world and the level of loyalty that you will have, this nation has been built by importing skills from everywhere, isn't it? Isn't it important you cultivate skill everywhere in the world, invest in that rather than bombing it out? So these policies have come from the past, from the fear that was there in the past. The world has changed. It is a privilege, it is a tremendous possibility that today there is only one really major power on the planet. This is the time to change the language on the planet. This is the time to shift the world from war to well-being. America has this responsibility, and you as people and citizens of the nation, you must demand this is what you want. One simple… two or three simple things you must ask them to promise, who's going to do it? They will get the vote, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. See, it is not a person that you're electing, it's an office. In Tamil language, there is a saying about selecting the kings in the past. When it comes to a king, Nallavan venuma, Vallavan venuma, it means, do you want a good man or do you want a capable man? So when it comes to the leader, we want a capable person. It is for you to decide who is capable on an individual basis, not because you belong to a Republican tribe or a Democratic tribe. Tribal warfare is not considered democracy. The beauty of democracy is power can shift, running a nation. In the past, if the power has to shift, blood had to flow. Yes or no? From one king to another, if it has to shift, lot of blood had to flow. Now democracy means the beauty of democracy is we can shift power gracefully without a drop of blood dropping. That is the beauty of it. But this will be only functional when you have a considered oath, not when you have a committed oath. So you must put across not too many things, 2 or 3 things that must happen for this nation. And say, ask them before the next debate, you have a social media, you can reach them. There was a time you couldn't reach them, now you can reach them. You ask them who is going to make a commitment that they will not open a new theater of war in the world. We have enough of that stuff going. America will not open up a new theater of war. There are other ways to address problems on the planet. And America will invest in well-being, not in war. The amount of money that's being invested in the war machine is unnecessary. This comes from the Cold War times when there are two big guns. Now one gun has collapsed. This is the time to shift the world from war to well-being. And this is the way the future and future prosperity of this nation and every other nation on the planet can be assured, is that everybody invests in each other's well-being in different ways. That is the only way that we will not continue to fight, because we cannot afford to fight in future because we are not fighting with sticks and swords anymore. We are fighting with that kind of weapons where nobody can win, isn't it? Not only nobody can win, nobody can exist at the end of the fight. When we are in that kind of capability, we must understand that our fundamental way of handling the world should move from investing in war to investing in well-being of the world. Just get this promise from them, who is going to do it, and let them get the vote. But it must be your individual considered vote. You should not vote as a tribe. And… oh, you still have questions?
I can speak without using myself.
But there are people in the upper regions. It's okay, but we will leave the question.
Mine is not a question more, it is a quest. It's a seeking. Sadhguru, this body we get from the cosmos,
Oh, really?
emerges out of the cosmos,
Oh, really?
lives in the cosmos.
I got my body from this planet. I don't know about yours.
So you will be able to solve my problem. Yes. We give it back to the cosmos. Then what is it that we say, I'm not the body, I'm not this body, I'm not the mind. And what is that is roasted in a hell, goes to heaven, enjoy food, or gets born as a plant, animal, or a Shudra,
That's
or
fine.
Brahman,
Okay.
or like an…
It's a long… I'll come.
Now I know you can solve it. Thank you.
Now, first let's understand this. See, one thing is, there are lots of assumptions in everybody's mind. We have started believing so many things. This is the first thing we have to come to. Can all of you come to this much sincerity in your life? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Is it okay? Hello? But right now the problem is, whatever we do not know, we assume. And then we believe. And we will gather 100 people around us who believe the same thing. And once 100 people gather and another 100 people believe something else, we will fight. This has been going on, isn't it? I'm saying, shall we become this much straight? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Is it okay? I do not know is an immense possibility. Only if you see I do not know, the longing to know, the seeking to know, and the possibility of knowing becomes a reality. Otherwise, everything that you do not know, you will believe. And believe me, if we work hard enough on you, we can make you believe just about anything. Yes or no? This happened in New York City. An 8-year-old boy came back from school and he had a very progressive mother at home. Obviously, she was single. He came home one day and asked, "Mama, is God man or woman?" She thought about all the gender politics involved in this, and then she came out with a answer and she said, "Both." He went into deep thought. After some time he came back and asked, "Mama, is God black or white?" Again she thought about all the racial politics involved in the country, and after much consideration she came back and she said, "Both." Then he went into very deep thought. After some time he came back and asked, "Mama, is God straight or gay?" She thought about all the politics involved with that aspect and then she said, "Both." The boy jumped in joy, I got it, it's Michael Jackson." How we draw these conclusions is up to us, but why can't we be straight enough? What I know, what I do not know, I do not know. If you see, I do not know, you will have an active living intelligence. If you believe things that you do not know, you will come to a dead end within yourself. If you want a living, active intelligence which is constantly looking, then you must see that whatever you know is just a minuscule in this cosmos, isn't it? Yes or no? How much ever we know, it is just a speck in this cosmos. And if you see almost nothing in this universe you really know, including yourself, you will remain a constant active intelligence. This is the way to be. A living intelligence, not a concluded intelligence. Conclusion means death. Yes? So what will happen after this? Some things you know best only by experience. What will happen after death? You will know only by experience. But life is like this right now. Life is just this. See, there is a wonderful suspense thriller going on in one of the local theaters right now. None of you have seen the movie. I have. Shall I tell you the story? She doesn't want. The entire story will take too much time. The last suspense part I will tell you 2 minutes. No, you don't want. Why? Because you want to experience the suspense. What is experiencing the suspense? You went there, saw that poster, oh, this director, this actor, maybe this will happen, mind will project. Then you will go inside, see those still images, oh, this guy will do this, that guy will do that, mind will do more projections. You go and sit in the auditorium, you watch the first few scenes, oh, this will happen, you made a prediction, it went wrong. That will happen, you made a prediction, it went wrong. One more prediction, went wrong. Then you consult with your friend and say, last scene is definitely going to be like this. When the last scene came, something totally different happened. Then you come out and say, wow, what a wonderful movie. If all your predictions go wrong, it is wonderful. Then I'm asking you, what's wrong with your life? Only problem is you lost You have lost the ability to enjoy suspense. You don't have a heart to enjoy suspense. Little suspense means this will palpitate. Little more suspense means this will crack up. It is very important that you have a heart to enjoy this suspense. But anyway, today I'm going to relieve the suspense for you, and the last scene in your life is you're going to be dead. Till then, till that moment comes, how alive, how joyful, how exuberant are you with this life? How alive are you? This is the only question. So tomorrow morning if you wake up, if you're still alive, you must give yourself a big smile, okay? Hello? Yes. What is the greatest thing about your life? You're alive right now, isn't it? Everything else is secondary. Not your wealth, not your money, not your business, not your family. The greatest thing right now is you're alive right now. If you come alive tomorrow morning, will you give yourself a big smile? Yes. If you're dead, I will excuse you, okay? If nearly 250,000 people died, at least 2 to 3 million people lost somebody who is dear to them, isn't it? You check those handful of people who matter to you, all of them alive today. Will you give yourself one more big smile? Hello? Right now it's 10 o'clock. You're still alive. Will you give yourself one more big smile? Every time Every time you check the time, I want you to understand, it is not the clock ticking away, it's your life ticking away, isn't it? This is your life ticking away. Now you must promise me, at least every time when you look at the time, if you're still alive, you must give yourself a big smile. Let's make it happen. I will come and spend a little time with all of you, and if you want the book signed, I'll come.